You arrive home, you pull into your driveway, and you get out of your car, and there's
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I accidentally pushed the shit wrong button. If anyone needs a seat, you can probably get a sneaky seat over in the corner behind Brendan. If you want, if this is weird, this is totally not COVID safe. We're going to get in trouble, but
Get in trouble.
yeah,
Get in trouble.
so punk. You can watch it on YouTube at the front.
I think COVID turning, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Come on, there's an inside out something. So maybe just don't show the audience too much.
We've got a camera on the audience. So, say that again, Lee. How many people are shot? There's just a lot of 45 meters that can't see on that. It's a really fucking big house. 1.5. Excuse the swear.
Oh, we have food. Time, how are we looking?
We've had 4 minutes. Yeah, one day I'll ask you. Hey, what was your oh yeah, I've got a bit, which is Can we say something? Old people and then they go to super old I don't have any on me. And then the kids go to where you and I are like showing comics to display. Like in that world, comics because we can actually tell a story. We can like read through it. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
The rules are 20 people in the house.
Oh, really?
So, maybe the crowd should.
I'll just do a trumpet and just say like the we were back to pick up the count. Yeah. Yeah, children are okay.
Hey?
Children are okay. Alright guys, just letting you know what you're up for. There'll be some content that's playing just for the live stream, so you might not hear the sound. But there's like about somewhere between 20 minutes, probably a 20-minute sort of speech from Finn and I, and then we've got about an hour of music. And it's not me reading the book. I'm just going to be keeping time by silently reading the book and showing my original artwork on the live feed. So for you guys, that period you can like drift in and out, and you don't have to sit here for the whole 90 minutes. But the whole point of that, the music period, is just to spend some time with the book. And then we have some pyrotechnics, so there'll be like an exciting bit at the end. Yeah, it'll be really loud. I bet someone's going to call the cops.
That kerosene smell that you're smelling, everything's been doused in it. So it's going to be amazing.
But you can still see from outside, so if a few people want to come out, just technically put it properly, because otherwise it's $1,600 per person. So everyone's happy to take that hit.
How's our metrics, Claude? We blowing up? Haven't even dropped any content yet. We should be relaxed. Right, at least 10 people. Get out. Let's find out who they are. They left. Yeah. Hey. Alright, can we get the... Alright, we're live stream starting now, guys. Ooh. Uh-oh.
You arrive home, you pull into your driveway, and you get out of your car, and there's a big stack of boxes on the doorstep, and that's, you know, the books have arrived, and it's quite a feeling to tear open a cardboard box which has stamps on it from like Korea and, you know, the US, and shipping labels and invoices, and you tear it open, and it's full of you. And this is actually a really important part of my creative practice, and it has been since I made my first comic. So here's how it goes. I pick up a book, I open it up, I put a book plate on the first page, I get out a rubber stamp and I stamp it, and then I get a pen and I put my signature in it. Sometimes it takes a little while, sometimes I might do a little drawing. And then I stuff that book into an envelope. I throw in a chocolate bar, and maybe a little handwritten note if I know the person that I'm mailing it to. And then I close the package, put stickers on both sides, and then stamp it. It's such a gentle, careful process, and I've realized how important that is for me to feel good about my practice, is to go through this process of touching each book, giving it a little bit of my time, giving it some care and packaging it up, and then sending it off to a reader so that they can have that experience of like tearing the package open. Not yet. We're all got to open it at once. Would you believe it, guys? These rubes in the room have already talking about opening their book. Hello, everybody. We are live on the internet, I hope. Welcome to the Grottiest live stream of 2020. It is just past 8 p.m. on the 7th of November, the year of fire and plague, and hopefully the end of Donald Trump and the beginning of the young man in the old man suit, Joe Biden. We are here to manufacture a moment. Can you turn that down a tad, Kilo? How do you release a book in the year of the plague? How do you do a book launch when the borders are closed and half of the people who I'd like to be hugging at readings books have just come out of lockdown? How does someone mark a major threshold crossing moment without getting so messy drunk that their pathogen-infused dribble gets on everyone present? I know no one else feels this way, but this moment is really important to me. It's like a wedding or a birth of a child, and how do I honor that? How do you do that? I don't fucking know. Nobody knows. But we're here. We're on Darawal country, and we're going to have a go. I mow the lawn here, and we call it the front yard, but this front yard is really the backyard of the Wody Wody. Before we do anything, we should acknowledge their indelible presence as the traditional owners of this landscape. All right. Can we get some bit of let's get it. Yeah, here, see, there's people here. Let's just show let's show all 19 of the people who are technically allowed in this room. I just want the people at home to know that this is a real thing. This is the book launch that I really just wanted to have. These people that I love. Over here we've got Russell Webster and Jay Bird. of the M1. They're going to be playing some music for us tonight. We've got some neighbours on the porch who are probably going to be listening to us, especially when we get to the pyrotechnics part. And we've got you guys on the internet, all 3.5 of you. I know you're on your phone, Meg. Yeah. All right, and my name's Pat. This is Finn. This guy down here. Get him on camera, Gabe.
Oh, Finn.
This guy.
Out of focus. Yeah, good enough.
Now keep it out of focus.
Done.
We are the ones who made this thing in this parcel. So can we give just the first of many cheers for the parcel itself. Has everybody got a drink? Is there a green drink in everybody's hand, or at least a fermented drink in everybody's hand? Yeah, everyone who can hack it. Is anybody lowering themselves into the bucket of creamed corn at home? I hope you're doing it safely. But most importantly, I hope everybody who's bought one of these and received it, I hope they haven't forgotten to read the instructions. Because I'm getting a vibe. I'm getting a vibe, guys, that you're really punishing me. It makes me feel like I'm at work. You write really clear instructions down. It says, don't open it. But some people I know have opened it. But
Hey Pat, shout out to Yummo and Rach.
Yummo and Rach, apparently Yummo and Rach opened theirs. So shame.
Publicly shaming people.
And there are some people who may not have been able to get a hold of the book. If that's you, that's okay. You don't have to be sort of looking at the hard copy. Instead, you can perhaps have a look at the comic, which is all online in its entirety. You can see the link down there if you're at home looking at your computer screen. Okay, you got something to say, Finn?
Nah, I'm excited, man.
All right.
Unless you want some.
Bad reviews?
Yeah.
No, we'll do that a bit later.
Hey Finn, Tom Spears says he wants your hat.
Oh yeah. I've got a hat for Tom Spears.
All right.
Good on you, Tom.
All right, guys. This event has been pretty difficult, actually. It's the last thing on my to-do list for 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it's technically the end of a decade. The 2020s are so over, and so is a big period of my life. So this thing in this parcel, I've been working on this for longer than I went to high school. I've been working on it for longer than than the time that I went out with Alicia before we got married. In the time while I worked on this thing, 2 small humans grew inside Alicia's belly. And now one of those children is old enough to have an opinion on the lyrical strengths and weaknesses of Lin-Manuel Miranda. And the other one, just recently, is old enough to make his way unattended to an amenities block for a shit. This thing in the parcel, it's been a fixture of my life for a long time. It's the one thing that wouldn't change, the one thing that wouldn't fucking go away, while I transformed into a young cartoonist with boundless energy, into a grey-bearded art goat who's almost always tired. It's true, I've never been so tired in my fucking life. So, for me, it's a big threshold is being crossed. So I want to take you back to the last time I crossed a threshold like this. Let's go back to the beginning of the period that is now ending. It was a little bit more than 10 years ago. So it's back in 2009. I'd finally figured out how to do a very difficult thing. You see, if you put enough drawings side by side, you can create this thing called a graphic novel. It's a literary form, guys. In 2009, it was still relatively new and strange literary form in Australia. It's this kind of storytelling. You can shuck it back in one sitting like a big plump oyster. It's this sort of form of storytelling that's materially compelling. Reading it is like reading someone else's handwritten diary. The graphic novel, perhaps one of the only visual storytelling forms that can provide a window into the soul of a single human. With one of these things in your hand, it feels like you're solving a puzzle, poring over some wildly complex and intricate visual language. But at the same time, you can wallow in like themes and ideas that are like raw and personal and uncomfortable, like teenage love or the experience of migration or the irresponsibility of young men. And this kind of story has this habit of reminding you that all this complexity is generated in the simplest and most honest way by scratching marks onto a piece of paper, making little drawings in little boxes, marking out each word and letter through the movement of a living hand. This kind of storytelling is still indelibly connected to that feeling we had that first time we took a crayon in our hands and we made a clean piece of paper dirty. So 20 years ago, I started training myself to tell stories in this way. And about 10 years, I crossed the threshold. I stopped training myself and I started actually doing it. And I spent 10 years giving it everything I had. 11 years even. And that decade when I was training from the early 2000s to 2009, the challenge was, how do I develop the skills to be able to do this mind-blowingly difficult thing? But then the decade after that was different. It was really different. The second decade is, how do I sustain the focus that a large project needs? How do you keep the pressure on? How do you deal with the despair, the self-doubt? How do you get myself to the studio when I've got an exhausting job in Sydney and adorable kids at home? How do I sit in the dark when there are waves to surf and escarpment to explore? And there's pork fat to render. Pork fat to render! Hey, Bede. How do I start drawing another panel when the last thing I want to do is draw these characters in this world? Once I start drawing, how do I stay on my seat and get the page done? Maybe just a panel when it feels so excruciatingly difficult. So making one page of comics looks easy, but it's really, really hard. Making 200 pages over half a decade is so mind-blowingly difficult that I've only actually met the smallest handful of people who have done it. To be honest, every single page feels like a miraculous thing to me. On every single page, I can see 10 opportunities to quit. 10 moments where I wondered whether I should stop. But instead, I kept going. So in that training decade, when I was learning to make a graphic novel, I lived and breathed comics. I hoovered up comics. But once I started making long-form comics, I stopped buying comics and I stopped paying attention to the new books and comics and graphic novels coming out. And the reason was that I don't like going into bookstores. A trip to Kinokuniya fills me with horror. Why? Because it's a room full of books, just like this book in the parcel. So many. Too many. And I can't help but imagine my unfinished book on the shelves, spine out, a single story in a forest of stories. I know for a fact that I can't possibly pick up each book in Kinokuniya and give it the time and attention it deserves. I can't possibly take a moment to bask in the perilousness of its very existence. So that brings me to this event, this weird event that we're all feeling slightly uncomfortable in. In a few short minutes, we will be having the great unwrapping ceremony. If I've done my job right, which I don't think I have, there will be people all over the country holding parcels, just like this parcel. Finn, can you give us some insight into what is in the parcel?
If you've ever seen a book before, it's kind of like that. It's made of, I suppose, it's predominantly paper. Would this be a good time to talk about some of the feedback that you've already gotten? Okay.
Because some people have opened their parcel already.
Should I stand up? Maybe I'll stand up. Maybe should I stand up on the chair? No, I'll just stand up normally, like a normal human being. So some people have already read it. Some people never got the instructions. Some people didn't read the instructions and they didn't read the book, but they've written reviews on Goodreads anyway. And so I combed through Goodreads and got some reviews to read to you guys today. So here's the first one. And the first one is from one of my favorite people and authors, Sarah Firth, who gave the book 5 stars. Wait. That's out of 5 stars. That's the most stars you can give. She said, a phenomenally fun and disgusting book with a clever and timely premise. The story is an engrossing ride, and the art is just incredible. Joshua Santa Spirit gave it 5 stars. Again, highest rating that you can give out of 5. Said that the grot is outstanding. Stephanie gave it 5 stars. Said stanky perfection. Yeah, which I agree with. All books have been anointed with a kind of stankiness, I would say. Did you say that's true? Yeah. Dwayne, on the other hand, gave it 1 star, which is classic Dwayne, isn't it?
Fucking guy.
Rebecca, these are all true, guys. Rebecca gave the book 3.5 stars and says, I don't like comic books much. I wasn't a fan of the art style, and the story wasn't to my taste. I certainly did not hate it. So 3.5 stars. That's not bad. Hurley from Illinois gave the book 3.5 stars and said, I cannot recommend this book highly enough. Yeah, anyway, I feel like someone should have explained maybe the rating system to Hurley there. Jeff gave it 5 stars and says, I have my own yogurt concern. And when I found out that the 2 main characters in The Grot had a yogurt company, I knew I would love the book. I really like Greek yogurt, especially with blueberries, which I kind of agree with, actually. Hopefully, blueberries will feature heavily in the next Grot book. I cannot recommend yogurt enough. And then we have just a couple more, and these are all true, guys. Catherine from America, very vague. America's pretty big. I've been there. Gave the book 5 stars and said, Finn McCabe is so talented. Wild to think that 37 years ago, he was this tiny, slimy infant covered in blood and amniotic fluid that just came out of my body, and now he is a published author with his very own book. He is a wonderful son, and his children are so wonderful. I can't recommend being a grandmother enough. And then finally, Donald Trump gave the U.S. electoral system 1 star and claimed that it's rigged. But he didn't review your book.
Thanks, Finn. Thanks, Guy. Where are we? So, some of you might be having your first encounter with this object that I've spent a huge chunk of my life on. Not that many of you, but some of you. But I wonder if we can all, everyone who's hearing this can do a little favor for me. Can we just take a moment to think about how kind of impossible a graphic novel is? Like, obviously I care deeply that people enjoy this book. Like, I want you to suck it up like a well-sourced noodle. I want you to blaze through it and look up and ask what happens next. I want to sell like heaps. Yeah, that'd be good. I'd like to make some money. Enough money to get me out of art debt would be okay. Actually, that'd sort me out. But tonight, let's forget all those petty author hopes and desires. I just want enough people to spend some time with this disgusting thing. So like say 40, 60 minutes. So here's how it's going to work. We're going to have the great unwrapping ceremony. And then we've got a document cam here. And I'm going to go through the book myself and I'm going to read it, I think, for the last time. And I'm going to show you some original artwork. Maybe I should just pull that out now. If you want to see how impossible a graphic novel is. This is the block of paper that I spent 7 years on. So I'm going to be going through that page by page. And these 2 amazing chaps over here have composed some music to accompany this encounter. So hopefully this is the richest possible experience of this book. So keep watching the screen if you want to pace yourselves with the music. They've got a structure to their compositions, and they're going to be sort of following where I'm going through to. All right, are we ready? Are we ready to unwrap this glorious thing? All right, it is time. Can we have a count of 10 and then it's time to unwrap, motherfuckers? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's it! Yay! Open it! Woo! Some of you have curly whirlies, some of you have book plates. Yeah, be sure to inhale the book smell. That's the one thing that I didn't design.
That's that stankiness.
That's the stankiness.
Everyone in the chat is excited about the curly whirly.
Did anyone here get a curly whirly? That curly whirly's travel. No, I won't put it up there. Here's what I do. Put it down here.
Take this. Yeah.
Do you want to break free?
I'll sneak. I can sneak under that way. You sure?
We're going to be here for a while. This is camera being construction.
Yeah. That camera. Oh, you can put that camera on Jay, actually. keep reading out the gold when you hear it, Claude.
What?
Keep reading out the gold when you hear it.
Okay. In the beginning, you missed a lot of people commenting on curly whirlies.
Oh, nice.
Some people said there was a book in here with my curly whirlies.
Scene change. Act break. Fun fact, Ambient Yeast was the original title for the book, and everyone hated it. Liz McFarlane said it sounded like a really shit teenage band. Just doing a poll for the YouTube stream. Would you like more fun facts, or are you immersed in the story?
Commentary. DVD commentary.
There might be a question for the YouTube followers. DVD fun facts from Patton.
Oh, everyone says, Riley says more fun facts. Yeah. And Chris Gooch said that was me actually that said that about the title. Yeah, Karen says more facts, Michael says more facts, Cameron more facts, George Butler says facts, John Renwick, fun facts,
Fun facts.
skip facts please.
All right. We're gonna do fun fact commentary, you guys. This thing here is a kind of contagious facial cancer. I imagine that it traveled from the Tasmanian devils to humans.
Ashley Harrigan said more facts and then a striptease. Alicia says only if you do it first, Ashley. Campbell asked for more facts as well.
More fun facts. Okay, guys, I'm gonna keep them coming. The Kevin07 t-shirt was I attribute to all of my coverage in the ABC. It turns out all you need is some not quite antique Labor merch to get everyone stick hard in the ABC.
Said the title was shit.
Fun fact, this drawing on the left was made before ibises were cool or annoying, or before peak saturation of ibis. This is Lenny Rodden here, right? This is Hazel Henson, my niece. This is Ned Henson. Shout out to Holly and Laurie.
That changes scene to the big, to the book. Yeah.
Hey B, do you want to do a fun fact?
Yeah, do a fun fact.
Do a fun fact.
Um,
Don't bite it. No fun facts on this page. here's a fun fact. As you can see in the original art, I misspelled DeLorean and then had to Google it to get it right. And you'll see in the book that you're holding that the I got it right, thanks to Photoshop. If there is a Curly Wurly Renaissance, I will. I'll claim it. I'll claim as being the seed of the Curly Wurly comeback. Underrated chocolate bar in my book, particularly for those who send a lot of mail. Fun fact. Once you see a shit drawing of a hand, you can't unsee it. So I'm gonna ruin this page for everybody. Ready? Shh. Worst hand. Yep. Audience question over here.
How long did each page take to draw and color?
I can take everybody through the process. About half a day's drawing on a piece of grid paper, and then another half a day drawing on a piece of Bristol board. An hour to scan it, and then it usually takes about 3 hours to half a day to color each page. Finn can color faster than me. Cameo. Hey Ben, I saw you on the feed earlier. There you are. Love you, buddy. One of my favorite things about the book is this excellent scabby dog. Given my time again, I'd do more scabby dogs. Here we go. Here's a random panel on a piece of paper. Finn's marked it with some kind of blue tape. There's another one we fixed in Photoshop. Very, very proud of this scene, actually. Very difficult to get all the information across without giving the con away. I had to block it out like a film set. Really think about where the camera is to make sure that the right information was obscured. Here's another fun fact. I kept getting confused between the Marigold and the Criterion. You can see on the original over here it says Criterion, but I had to change it because I realized I got the hotel names wrong. What a turkey.
We have an audience question.
Audience question.
Would Pat eat a curly wurly with a pork crackling crust?
No doubt. I don't know. I don't think the person asking the question has really thought through the question was, would Pat eat a curly wurly with a pork crackling crust? I don't think it would be a fun meal though. I think it needs some sort of structural device to hold it all together. Couple of Sarah Howland, David Blumenstein in the corner there. Campbell White asked, what were my biggest heist/film influences? I watched all of them. The films are all useful, but the best book was a piece of non-fiction called The Mark Inside, which was a true story. So all the best stuff came from history, actual history. So if you look carefully here, you'll spot the Top Shelf Boys, Chris Gooch, our publisher Chris Staros, and Campbell who just asked that question. Sorry. No, that's okay. I haven't got the shot set up on OBS, so. Audience question, let's go.
Hi, Pat. Tell us about your influences for the setting, i.e. westerns, etc. From Joshua Santaspirit.
All my homies. What are the influences for the setting? It's sort of. I don't really take a lot of influence from the places themselves. Instead, I took a bit more influence from. I kind of created a logic. So what I think you're reading as a Western is maybe a bit more like 1800s technology of making clothes and manufacturing buildings and things like that. Kind of feels a bit like a Western after a while. Right, I'm a bit confused with my pages here. The excellent plague shot. This is the best piece of luck I had with this project. Probably one of my favorite panels in the book. I love this this person making some sort of fermenting some sort of whiskey or moonshine here, but then we've got the plague. Great color by Finn here. That's my sister Ali. Hi Ali. If you've got the graphic novel edition, you'll notice that a lot of the swears have been removed. That's because I realized that the people who are really enjoying the book were really quite young. Yep, let's go. Audience question.
Lucy asked, how long did scripting take you?
All right. How long? Question from Lucy was, how long did scripting take? I've also got a baby on my lap wanting to cuddle, so I'll just get rid of this dreadful child. Lucy, how long did scripting take? It took about 2 years, but it wasn't my A project. While I was scripting it, I was working on some other stuff. So I scripted it. I scripted it on the train to work at that time in my life. So it took about 2 years writing for 90 minutes, 3 or 4 mornings a week. The real time went into the thumbnailing of it, which I had to do many, many times. There was a real sort of daggy adventure sort of version of this when I first started thumbnailing. I'm really proud of this panel here. When you tell a story about like people who are tricking each other, you have to be really, really, really careful about where people are looking. So you have to sort of, especially if you're trying to trick the audience, you have to be really careful about showing these micro interactions between characters that create like tension or reveals information that helps people understand what's actually going on in a scene. I'd never done that before this book, so that was a big part of the learning. Very, very, very proud of this page here. Yeah, 2 questions. Let's keep them coming. I always work on my train commute. I never do. I do some kind of work. I never do fun stuff on the way to work, and I just watch movies on the way home.
And Karen asks, what compelled you to write this story?
Ooh, that's a pretty... Karen asks, what compelled me to write this story? That's a pretty broad question. I say... I wanted to tell a story for 15-year-old me. The sort of story my mum would have said, "Hey Pat, you might like this," and put in my lap. I wonder what wet wares are. Has anyone got any theories about what wet wares are? So when I was editing out the swears, I went to the US censorship board or ratings agency, and I worked out exactly how many swears you're allowed to put in a movie before it stopped being PG-13, and I applied the same rules to this book. So technically, it's PG-13. What's next? I want to do a sketchbook about the Gold Coast, and I want to do some painting. So I want to learn how to paint. So if you're really into briefing scenes, this is like a classic heist con genre briefing scene. This destroying thing. You should check out the briefing scene in Chris Gooch's new book, Wasteland. No, it used to be called Wasteland. Now it's called Under Earth. Sorry, Gooch. Love a briefing scene. Wildly different. Blue was written like in a word process. The question was how different was writing the Grot compared to Blue. It was wildly different. The Grot was written in a word processor, and then it was transferred to prose. I wrote it as a script, and then I wrote it as prose, and then I wrote it as a script again. But the third time I used screenwriting software, which actually helped a lot. So this page here, this sequence here, it was passed back and forth between Finn and I quite a few times. I did the inks, and then Finn put the color blocks down, and then I did the red lines at last. That was actually quite a scary process. And if you look carefully, you can find a panel where I missed the red. It's like she's pointing to it, and there's no red there.
Question from Riley. Which character do you most relate to?
Oh, great question. Everyone says, "Oh, I look so much like Penn," which is like. The reason that is because Penn's modeled off a couple of photos of my father, Noel Grant. Also, Mr. Wickham from the BBC Pride and Prejudice series. Big fan of old Mr. Wick. But I really think I'm more of a Lippy than a Penn. Oh, here's a fun fact. Scunja Sucks was a piece of graffiti that was written at the Sawtell Surf Club that I always quite appreciated. Scunja was the one paid lifeguard, and all the surfers hated him. Oh, great question, Cooney. Yeah. I need some time to think about it. Who's the one person in the world who I'd like to be snapped by the paparazzi reading the Grot? I think it would be like a really clean teenager with YouTube hair, something like that.
Someone who's famous on TikTok?
Yeah, absolutely. Someone who's famous on TikTok. There's Glenn Smith on this page. Hey, Gleno. Oh, there you are, Cooney. Thanks for that question. I swear you didn't look so bad when I drew you all those years ago. But then Finn coloured you and you'd look terrible. Sam supported the Comic Art Workshop fundraiser, and his prize was a cameo in the Grot. If you set up a writer's room, I'll sit in it for sure. That sounds amazing. Here's Sarah Firth. Hey, Sarah Firth. So, a lot of people have responded to this panel here. I think it's one of the few moments of care and gentleness and calm in the book. I'm gonna try and include more stuff like that in future Grots. Yeah, maybe. There's an inner circle there, definitely, though, right? So, fun fact about this page. One of the things we did in the thumbnail draft was we color coded the characters just to make it more legible, and after a while, I really grew to like the look of the color coded characters, the black and white drawings with color coded characters. So we included we just included it in this sort of in this flashback sequence. Finn, I had to convince Finn that it would work, but yeah, came up great.
The fans are asking you to talk about these future grots that you just dropped.
Oh god, people want me to talk about future grots. Yeah, deep future. Oh, Sunny. How do I draw like that? Ask Sunny. Yeah, actually, there is a PhD here that I wrote about such things. So these are the sort of panels where Finn's magic really comes into play, getting these subtle nighttime tones right. I really love them. And I would say this one here is the most Finn McCabe of all the pages. This one. Oh, just his aesthetics approach is much more ambiguous than mine. I'm more inclined towards like solid flat color. I'll show you a little bit further. There's some more pages that I colored. It's beautiful though. So question, do you think I would write in the Grotverse for other artists to draw? Absolutely. Actually, fun fact is that Doug Holgate was... I was in discussion with Doug Holgate about drawing this when it was still in script form. And we did a little bit of work together, but it sort of petered out, and then I went off and started experimenting with drawing it myself. We've got cakes coming in.
How long is this cable? Get it closer. As close as I can get.
Just let's take a pause to admire the cakes. We've got the Women's Weekly jelly pool with it looks like a plastic snake, but it definitely has jelly in there. Shake it least so the jelly wobbles a little bit. Yeah, look at that. Oh. Has anybody actually eaten the jelly cake from the Women's Weekly? It's got to be disgusting, right? I guess we'll find out. I always wanted it when I was a kid. This is one of my childhood dreams. Oh, yeah. But also just the... I'm really proud of this sequence here. I don't know why. Like, just you end up liking these sequences with which is just somebody trying to do something with their body that's sort of complex. So it ends up being really difficult to do. So when it works, I like it. Although the perspective is all wild. Look at this. Look at that tiny bed. Look at that. Yeah. Whack.
You're on TV. Probably go back to the big one now if you want that.
All right. There's Anthony Calvert. Hey, bud. I like this. I like this vehicle up the front here. The shoe merchant. He's got a nice spotty dress on.
Should I put this camera on you so I can see your face?
Ah. Now we come to probably my favorite double page spread. Big fan of the band. Little pleasure model sticker on the guitar there. That's my cameo. I don't know if you noticed. Here's my question for you, Claudia. Which groupie would you take? Oh, come on. That's me. You can't say that. That's creepy. Yeah, she's intense. So I am that uncool that I actually had to go on the line and figure out how to set up a PA to do this. I had to look at 17 diagrams of like stage setups. Yeah. It certainly did help for the setup for tonight. Here's a composite. I think Finn realized some weeks later that he got some continuity wrong in this scene, so he went back and recolored this one. That guy. Another one of my favorite pages. A lot of non-verbal communication going in this scene as well. Really tricky to figure that out. So you can see I did that digitally. I did the writing there. It's got a green worm on it.
Albion Hazel asked where their $15 are.
Oh yeah. Should we see how long we can swing it? Oh, thanks, bub.
I just think you probably overpromised. They probably would have done it for the curly moment.
Nah, we got it.
They said we did a lot of work.
You should have seen how hard I rode them as well. Like I was really like a nasty boss. Like I was really like, come on, we gotta go. And I got my hours right out of it. Sean Tan in the corner of this page. Do you think Sean Tan would go to a cockfight? That's the sort of future that lies ahead of us. Just bumping into old Sean Tan at the cockfight. Lot of swears taken out of this scene. Another 10? Another 10 minutes? Yeah. Sweet. All right. So this was a page coloured by me, and every time you flick through the book, you can see it jumps out because it's so much less subtle than what Finn's done. So much more saturated. They were printed in Korea. Fun fact, on the liner notes it says they were printed in Latvia, but that must have not happened because the shipping labels on the carton said they were from Korea. So yeah, they must have changed the plans at the last minute. Yeah, more technical questions. Let's bring them on. Great question. If you've got a publisher that's... The question was, do we get to see the printer's proof before production? And the answer is no, in this case. So I got almost zero communication from the production staff at Top Shelf. So
when you compare the printed book to the drawings, are you happy with the colouring production?
So when I compare the printed book to the drawings, am I happy with the colour? Yeah, actually, I think it's pretty good. There's you, Doyle. That's like what Doyle is that? That's like 2003 Doyle. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you ever consider replacing the swears with vanilla swears like an old movie dubbed for TV in the 90s anime, such as Scarehead replacing asshole?
Did I ever consider using like they say, what do they say in Starship? Yeah, I did, but I find it distracting actually when like they do it in Starship. What's that? Get Battlestar Galactica, right? Yeah. It sounds nice, but it's also like it jolts me out of the text a little bit. Yeah. No, as a TV show.
What do they use for their swearing?
They say frack instead of fuck. Frack.
Frack.
Yeah. This page has my mum and her twin sister and her elder sister. Also Louis Joyce and Chica, who are here tonight. Woot. Shout out to Barbecue King, the best place to go eating late at night with cartoonists. I went there with Andrew Fulton once, and I was a bit sad and drunk, and I had a little sleep in the toilet cubicle. Nah. It's okay. We're nearly done. We probably are we? Oh no, we got a ways to go. I don't like the writing in this scene.
How you do?
Do you like the drawing of you in the graph?
No.
No. You've got a fungus growing on your butt. So my big innovation in the area of post-apocalyptic, or like speculative fiction, is I'm the only one who's thought about where the compost bins are. I love the idea that people put the. Oh really?
Audio is gone to cut, someone says.
It's fixed. All right. I think it might be that cable is a bit glitchy.
Your microphone's alright?
Yep, it's still coming through. So I previously mentioned that I don't like this scene outside Barbecue King. I think it's pretty bad writing, but I love this. This is the last thing I wrote. I think a late interaction that came into the book. I think I added a couple of extra pages, and this interaction with this weird old guy reminds me of something that would happen at the mall in Coffs Harbour. But I love it that Lippy is getting accused of being a con artist, or being some kind of nefarious character. That might be the first time he's been mistaken for a local.
You mean you added that between the floppy and the book?
No, I didn't add it between the floppy and the book. I just added it when I arrived at this scene, which is really late in the piece. And $1,000 a dart in the grim future that awaits us. Did I imagine it was going to take 7 years? Thanks, Cobe. Thanks for the question, mate. No, the answer is no. I thought it was going to take 4 years. But my life changed somewhat, right? And I don't know if, given my time again, if I had that information at the start, I probably wouldn't have done it. Anyone else annoyed by this? I don't know, I'm annoyed by it. It just seems weird and pointless. So here's a late addition as well. This character here, little boy who's sort of busking. He was added because a friend of mine wanted a cameo for his brother in the book. But then I thought that maybe this kid could be working as like a scout or some kind of signal for the people who are running the con. Yo. It's in the bedroom. The kids are watching a movie, I think. So this is how these kind of elaborate drawings get planned. Started with a green pencil, went over the top with a red pen. And then the shading happens after as a way of planning. Finn coloured this one right on top of my original line work. There was nothing in between. Get in the Uber, dude. I like all these people who are clearly they've finished their time in Falter City and they're heading home. Makes me feel calm looking at them. Goon. Why don't we finish this up with a read of the epilogue, huh? Once we get the voiceover. Thanks, Len. Oh no. Here's 2 pages that I coloured. Bit saturated. There's you, Claude. Hey, Claude. The one where you're crying about money. Big fan of this kebab cart, actually. Would you eat that kebab cart then?
What kebab cart? Oh yeah, that kebab cart.
Yeah.
No.
Look at this guy's viscous vomit. Look at that viscous vomit. Ugh.
Would you? I wouldn't. Would you?
Alright, we're going to do an atmospheric read here. An old guy sleeps in the gutter. His gums are bleeding. Someone's drugged him and pulled out all of his teeth. Back on the mainland, he was a landowner. Had a wife, kids, tenant farmers. Now he's here. If you woke him up and asked him, he'd tell you that his gums were bleeding before they pulled his teeth out. He'll be dead from malnutrition before the year's out. A young woman with a little kid strapped to her back winces as she walks home. She's got what they call the Falter City staggers. The Falter Swamp staggers. It's trench foot. She came to the city with a small inheritance, but lost it within a few weeks. She'll get up early tomorrow. She'll put on her wet sandals, she'll strap her baby on, and she'll head back out there into the swamp. A month from now, they'll be amputating her feet. A family of 6 disembarked from the shallow water dock on Cone. They got what they came here for. It's time to go home. They're loaded into a wagon that was cobbled together from bamboo and some old water barrels. Tomorrow, when the fog clears, you'll be able to see where they ended up. Just a few k's offshore. If you look hard from somewhere up high, you'll spot them. 6 round heads poking above the mud of the shipping channel. The magpies pecking at them like watermelons. That's what the Falter City con artists say. Show me a place where a poor kid can become rich in an afternoon, and I'll show you a place where a rich kid can become poor in just about the same time. And we are done. Okay, can you get that one? It's a bit. All right, this ends my relationship with this dreadful thing. I will now put it on the bookshelf. I was going to put it on the, the pretentious classics one, but I'm going to wedge it right in between 2 Vanessa Berries. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Next to Peter Carey.
Yeah, that's done. All right. Oh yeah, we've got a few more proceedings to go. Let me go.
Is it my American accent? Okay, we're back with sound. This book is really amazing. I feel very excited and grateful that I got to work on the book. And yeah, I feel like very lucky to have been involved. Pat, you're such a lovely human being, and I admire you greatly. And that's why I got a tattoo of your face today on my chest. Yeah. So it hurt a lot. It obviously healed very quickly because I got it done this morning. But I feel that I won't regret this tomorrow.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Ben.
Stop eating cake.
The jelly pool is really good. Does anyone else rate the jelly pool? Women's Weekly, the jelly pool, a good one. Okay, it turns out the sound on my thanks slides don't work, so I've just got to go. I'm not going to go through this. It's going to be weird. So what I'm going to do, what I'm going to do is just say there's a bunch of people who've been thanked in the back of the book. You know who you are. Dig around for your name. Like to thank publishing people, particularly my just the community of comic book artists in Australia, but particularly the people who I worked really hard with at Comic Art Workshop. I'm not sure I'm ever gonna see those guys all together again, but that was a really important part of this project, and it's really nice to be in a group of people who have books coming out that were all at that event. But mostly, I wanted to firstly get out my money belt. The actual money belt, and I wanted to give a present to my mum. Hey, Mum.
There they are, the remnants. That's all. You haven't used them all.
She bought me this packet. Come here, you animal. Come back. She bought me this pack of doughnuts when I was 12, and I drew the book with them. So there's the last of them. It was a big set of Derwent Studios. God, I'm really messing this up. Thanks, Finn. You've been great to work with, in great friend to this part of my life, and oh man. And also, wanted to thank Gabe too, because it's been a really intense year. We've been really working really close together. It's been huge help, particularly with this show. You two are my sister wives. But there's an alpha wife. And I've got it written down, so I might just read it. Alicia, this book is dedicated to you, but I never formally thanked you. I just want you to know I'm really proud that you've developed your own arts practice, as mine has become quite a burden. I hope one day, when you're swamped by some outrageous ceramics boondoggle, that I can be the chirpy freckled fuckwit in the apron, making gross hippie tea and custard tarts for you and your coterie of famous clay workers. I will be there at your mud-smeared elbow. Thank you. I love you. All right. I also got to thank the other people for whom this book is dedicated to, which is my sister Ali. Love you, Ali. She helped me so much with the publicity for this book, but I shared a studio with her, and yeah, she's been great. She's just been a huge rock in my life. So can I get I've got some pyrotechnics. Where are they?
Yeah.
Oh, Leisha has them. We're gonna pop them inside. Yeah, let's pop them inside.
Lenny's already broken 2 windows this year.
No, I reckon we can pop them inside.
Should we do? Should I do the first one outside? Because I'm really.
I just want to. Final launch speech. We do have a final launch speech from Campbell White, who I asked to do the official launch of this book. He's just got a book out, and he's just been through this as well, and his book is amazing. So, can I get one from Alicia? I don't think you can do one, Len. Gabe, you've got one. Finn, you've got another one.
You need one, man.
Nah, man, you go stand over there so it's not going to get on the gear.
How does it work?
You shoot the roof. You turn it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So you guys in the room won't be able to hear this, but I think that the people on YouTube will.
What about camp?
Hey, you filthy animals. My name's Campbell White. I'm here in my grot cave, ready to launch the grot. I'm going to be bunkering down there on that mattress, cracking open the spine, going on a hallucinatory journey through a world of disgust, yogurt, fungus, and all sorts of nasty shit. So, if you're like me and you're excited and you got the book in your hands, buckle up, because the grot's out. Yeah!
All right. Go stand over where Finn is, Gabe.
Okay.
Get him now!
Camera in focus.
Ready? At the camera?
Ready? We'll do 3 launches.
How do we do it?
Twist it. Twist to the left.
Launch! Hey!